Yeah, welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast live. Saturday night edition. So what we're going to do here, we're going to wait a few minutes. We got my main man G coming in. As you can see, we got my main man Transformer here too. And so we'll wait a couple minutes, let that get going, let a couple people hop into the chat, and then we'll get this thing up and rolling. But yeah, good day so far. And college football is back. If you're a college football fan, I know you're happy about that. Well, some of us are happy about that. I am.
Hey, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Irregardless, I'm happy. Okay,
That's what's up.
Disappointed is a different thing.
Facts. Oh man, but yeah, we'll give it a couple minutes, man. But definitely some interesting things going on in the world of sports. Got four what I believe to be pretty interesting topics to talk about with my guys, and hopefully share these thoughts with you all, and hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. Yeah, looking forward to it. And of course, before we even get started there, we got some quick hits, things that are worth touching on, but not worth an entire segment. So it's going to be a good show tonight. But before we even get to all those, what time it is. If you're here on YouTube and you haven't already, please make sure you go ahead, click that like, that subscribe, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept up to date whenever we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you're enjoying the content, make sure you give us that like, that 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And finally, make sure you write it down, put it in your phone, set an alarm, do whatever you got to do to remember. Saturday nights at 7 p.m. we are live here on the Format Podcast, and we'll give you the opportunity to call in, talk to us, get at me. I love it. I can't wait. So let's go ahead and knock out this last one, because it is college football. So we got to talk about this, and then we will be done for the night. So this some that kind of got to me personally. I definitely wanted to talk about it. What we got here? Hold on one second. Facts. All right, let's go ahead and talk about college football. Coach Prime Deion Sanders. So we know that this guy is he's arguably one of the greatest athletes in American sports history. He's a Hall of Famer in football, arguably the greatest defensive back of all time. Most people would say that. I think maybe there's a little bit of argument for it, but I'm not mad at anyone who says that he is. So there's that. Obviously, he was a very good coach, an outstanding coach at Jackson State before he moved on to Colorado. And we saw all the hype and excitement that brought, and they won 4 games last year, which was an improvement. It was an improvement off of 1 the previous year. Now Colorado is moving into the Big 12, and they've got a lot of expectations ahead of them. So recently, Deion was, I was supposed to have a clip for this. Deion was at a post-game, he was at a post-practice, I should say, press conference, at which point, here we go. Let me see if I can get that for you. He was at a post-practice press conference at which he got into it with a couple of the reporters. One of the reporters was from CBS, and he refused to deal with that guy because basically what happened was he found out that there was a young African-American reporter, or an African-American reporter, I don't know if he was young or not, working for CBS at the time, and he had gotten some access to Deion and written up a story. And once he did the story, they took the story from him and they gave it to a white reporter. And so Deion was like, yo, that's not cool. Like, this guy did his work, blah, blah, blah. And then you took it from him. And, so he didn't want to deal with anyone from CBS, which at the time we were like, why is Deion acting like this towards a reporter from CBS? And so that became a thing. Then he had another reporter, and he was asking him, when the guy went to ask him a question, he was like, why are you like this? What is the problem? I want to help you.
Sean Keeler, I think it's
Sean Keeler. Yeah. Sean Keeler. So it ends up being an issue, and we're like, what's going on here? So we end up finding out that this guy, Sean Keeler, he's a columnist in Denver, and he had said some things clearly that Deion didn't like. And so let's hear a little bit They discussed this on The Odd Couple with Chris Broussard and Rob Parker. I think Ephraim Salaam was in that night for Chris Broussard with Rob Parker, and they talked about it. So this will kind of give a little more insight into what was going on there, and then we'll come back and discuss it a little further. And I'll explain why this touched me personally. Pause.
Colorado, the athletic department, specifically their football program, has informed the Denver Post that Deion Sanders and anyone else within their football program will no longer take questions from columnist Sean Keeler. In a statement sent to the Post, Colorado said that they have received a, quote, series of sustained personal attacks in Keeler's coverage of the program. When asked for specific examples on how they personally were attacked by Keeler, they referenced a handful of stories which use phrases such as, quote, false prophet, deposition Deion, Planet Prime, the Bruce Lee of BS, the Deion Kool-Aid, and overall describing the program as a, quote, circus.
Ephraim, here's why I'm mad.
Okay.
Here's why I'm mad. Forget about Deion and Colorado. Shame on them, okay? Big babies. Do you remember when Colorado won its first game?
Yeah.
Last year,
Yep,
you remember?
Yep.
And what did Deion do in the very first game? What did he do? He called out Ed Werder. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. Right, Rob G? Was it Ed Werder?
Yep.
He said, now what do you think? You remember that?
Yeah.
Called him out after the first game. Okay. Here's my problem. Forget Colorado. Forget the football team. If you're members of the media, not only from the Denver Post, but from all the newspapers, TV, and radio stations that cover that football team, they should refuse to cover Colorado football if they're going to exclude a columnist from doing his job. Ephraim, they have every right not to answer a question from that guy. Do you hear me? You're not obligated, Ephraim. If I'm go up to you and I say, Ephraim, what happened on that play, whatever, or whatever you whiffed and the quarterback lost the ball, whatever it is, okay? You could say to me, no comment. And I have to respect that. Do you understand? There's a difference between letting a guy do his job and you not participating. But when you tell a guy that he can't do his job or he can't be around, if you're a member of the media not working for the Denver Post and you're with another outlet, if you allow Deion and Colorado to do this to this columnist, the stuff that he said, Ephraim, is nothing. That's what columnists do. There was once a general manager in Detroit named Jerry Walker. I think he's passed away now. And Ephraim, his big thing was he couldn't get pitching for the Tigers. You know what nickname I gave? He could never make a trade to get pitching. I gave him the nickname Dr. Doolittle. Okay? That's not bad, right? Because he couldn't get any trades done. Randy Smith was another Tiger general manager. I gave him the nickname Rancid Randy. Anything he touched just turned to goo. All right? And my point is, as a columnist, that's the license you get, right? Your opinion to be witty, whatever. And people have a right to want to talk to me or not answer my question. That's fine. But to single out a guy and tell him that he can't participate or ask any questions is unheard of. And the rest of the media cannot allow this to happen.
So I know that was a little bit of a long clip, but why this got to me personally is because I've been a guy who has been in the post-game press conferences, and I've been in there asking questions and trying to get quotes so I could get my article in and all this stuff. And I can't imagine being in that situation or how I would have responded, especially as a novice reporter that I was, to, try to ask someone a question and to be told that nobody in the program or that head coach is going to answer any questions from me. I'm like, that's crazy. Like, that's part of your job, to sit there and take these questions from the media, even when it's uncomfortable. So I'll give some more insight on that. But you guys' thoughts?
Okay, because G looks like he wants me to talk. So when I first heard the interview, because I heard this interview of earlier when I was working out. So at first I was like, okay, I get where Deion is upset or the Colorado Buffs are upset. But then I thought about it, because when you responded to me earlier when we were talking about it, I was like, you know what? Bruce is a journalist. He's been in that situation. So I then started trying to see it from both angles on how this is bad, like bad on one end, but also bad on this end. I get what Deion and the Colorado Buffs are getting from trying to silence him, but I think in this part, Rob Parker is right. you don't have to necessarily say he can't talk, right? Like you have the right to be like, okay, because I believe Marshawn Lynch did this great. All right.
Yes.
They ask him a question. He's
I'm
like,
just
I'm
here
just here so I don't get
fine.
fined.
Facts.
Move on. Next question.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think you can do that, but I do feel it's a difference in personalities and it's a difference in egos. Deion Sanders has never been talked down to. He has never been criticized as heavily. He has never been in a position to where every time this one person says something out their mouth, it is something disrespectful. I've always been in the limelight. I am one of the greatest players to ever play football. I did my thing in an HBCU where I led them out of the mud and got them to where they're at. You know what I mean? To win the SWAC, it was the SWAC championship, right? The SWAC, I won a SWAC title and things like that. I've been that guy no matter what I did. The Atlanta Braves, what I did with that team,
The Yankees.
and the Yankees. So I've been that guy. So I get it from an ego point of Deion just, okay, whatever this guy's talking about, it's not football. It's always just criticizing me and attacking me. And I feel like that's much. But then again, you're going way too far by saying this guy can't say anything.
Is he?
You know what I mean? I think it is. Because at the same time, like Deion has to understand, you have to be able to take it, bro. Pause. You got to be able to take it, bro. If you don't want to answer it, bro, just don't answer it.
Right.
Just don't answer.
Next question.
You know
That's all
next
you
question. You can easily say that because I'm thinking about it with a journalist hat on. I've never been a journalist, but I'm thinking about it with a journalist hat on. The dude literally said, I mean, this is how I make my bread, bro. This is how I get my money. I'm getting clicks because of you. I'm literally thinking it from a click and a beat writer perspective. I am getting my name because of you. So guess what? If I got to do what I got to do to put food on my table, that's what he's doing. You know what I mean? Now, do I think the criticism is fair? I don't think it is. I don't think it's fair at all because like the name calling and stuff like that, like, come on, man. I mean, the man been there 1 year and what he's done with the team.
So let me interrupt real quick. So part of the reason that he's the guy, the columnist, right? So first, remember what Rob Parker said. When you're a columnist, you get a little more liberty as a writer to be opinionated versus as a beat writer, you're just telling the facts of what's going on, right? Secondly, I think that the other thing is when this guy says this stuff like the Bruce Lee of BS or, Deion whatever and the Deion Kool-Aid, first they're saying like, okay, well, Deion gets all this hype. He only won 4 games. Now it was year 1 and that was an improvement. So be fair, whatever. Cool. Then there's the other part of if you like do the research into a lot of the stuff that's allegedly going on, around the Colorado program, it's not great if you hear a lot of the stuff, right? Like if you hear commentary from athletes who left the program or if you hear stuff about, allegedly guys, gambling large amounts of players, gambling large amounts of money and guns and stuff being around the team. And again, it's Colorado. Guns are probably very legal in that state, but
a lot of stuff is legal in Colorado.
Right. But it just doesn't sound right in terms of, leading the program. And especially if we're honest, a black man who is loud, aggressive, and can be abrasive, right? In Deion Sanders.
That's what he's always been.
I was about to say he's always been that, but he's always been the one that could back it up, right? When you're a coach, you can't necessarily back it up because you have to depend on other people to back it up for you. And let's be real too. Here's the other thing, and then I'll let G go. Like they were talking about after the first game last year, I think it was Ed Werder, who is a very respected NFL scribe after the TCU game when they won. He's like, do you believe? Do you believe? So it's like Deion, and no disrespect to him, but it seems like he only wants reporters around that are going to kind of kiss the ring. You know what I'm saying? If they're critical, he seems to be less than willing to deal with that and interact with it. And finally, I saw I was looking this stuff up and reading more about it. There's apparently a clause in his contract saying that he only has to deal with media members that they find like mutually acceptable. I guess the university.
Mutually agreed upon media.
Thank you. Mutually agreed upon media. Thank you. Yeah. So I'm like, that's kind of, I've never heard that before. Now I'm sure he's not the first person to have that clause in his contract. I'm sure. So I'm not assuming that. I just found that odd, like mutually agreed upon media. Like you're getting paid handsomely. You want all the attention when it's great. When it's not so great, go out there, answer the damn questions and move on. G, go ahead.
First of all, I think I just want to take my hats off. I don't really know enough about the whole sports journalism arena and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable, right?
Yeah.
But if somebody is like blatantly stretching the truth and or exaggerating for likes and clicks and beats, and we call it being opinionated, but you're not like not necessarily kissing the ring, but you're not like telling the facts how it is.
Okay.
I'm gonna bounce you up out of there too, like especially if it's in my contract that I don't have to talk to you and you've been spewing like misinformation or and amplifying stuff that may not be to my liking. I'm building a team here, and these are young players that you are like really talking about, and their impression when they open the newspaper shouldn't be all negative all the time. And so if that's the case,
I do agree with that.
Yeah, he has to bounce them out. He has to. Like I know we only seeing like one side of the story here as far as what the media is depicting. Like they depict him as bad guy.
I mean, I see both sides. I'm just saying, like the thing about Deion, what was Deion great at in NFL? What was he great at?
Self-publicity.
Defense.
Oh yeah, of course.
Defense, yes. Right? What was the off the field greatest thing he was good at? Wordplay,
marketing,
comebacks,
yes.
Marketing. You mean tell me, Deion, bro, there was the one time where you didn't have that notebook that you always had to write up all your quotes on standby, waiting on Buddy to say something.
Right.
You know what I mean? So on the lines of a Marshawn Lynch, hey man, I'm just here so I don't get fined. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, I'm just gonna answer your question so I don't boot you up out of here. Like, I mean, I just started out off the top of my dome. So you mean to tell me, Deion, bro, you couldn't do that? I think it's just
maybe he didn't want to. Like at some point, the madness, the nonsense has to stop.
I see what you're saying.
You're not just going to say whatever you want out your mouth in these places and think you're gonna sit in my face and then ask me questions and twist the things that I say or the things that's going on in my locker room. Like,
especially when it's a repetitive.
These are kids, man. Like these, I mean, they're young men.
We got to stop that. These are kids, but go ahead.
They're young men. I'm gonna say they're young men.
Right.
But the thing about it is, like,
under 25, they're young men.
He wasn't even talking about the kids. If you look at all the names, bro, it was pointing at him. Like, bro, when Deion asked him, when Deion asked him, "What did I do to you? What did we do to make you this way, bro?" And when dude said, "I don't know," I was like, "All right, bro. Now you just doing stuff."
So you heard the interview? Okay, yeah.
I heard the interview. It's like,
but he kept asking him, "Can I ask you a football question? Can I ask you a football question? Can I ask you a football question?" No. I'm like, whoa, okay.
But I got where Deion was coming from because he's like, no, because dude said, "Well, we'll talk about the reason why I don't like it offline." And then Deion cut it off. It was like, okay, cool. I'm not going to answer your question until we have that conversation because I want to know why you are this way. I get that from Deion.
It makes sense, bro. Especially if it's in my contract and I ain't got to deal with this shit. Oh yeah, you out of here, shorty. Like I don't got time. I'm too busy doing other things. And I think when it comes to like a black coach in Colorado, and I ain't gonna pull the race card. I'm not here to do that. But I'm gonna say that he's under a lot of scrutiny to win. And winning only 4 games last year, that probably didn't help his cause, especially with all the publicity going around.
I was about to say, I think it was more sort of hype that was around him in the program, not necessarily because in any other situation, going from 1 win to 4 wins in a season, that's a good turnaround, right? That's a good improvement.
Not to mention the cost to go there right now since he's been there. Not to mention the price of the ticket sales that rose. Like the school in itself is doing really, really well. They was doing well without him winning, but now that tuition they're able to rise that tuition or raise the tuition, and yeah, the school is doing really, really well when it comes to Deion being there. Just much like when he was at Jackson State, he brings value to the school. And if they put in those laws like
the amount of celebrities that would have never came to a game.
Yeah, man, there's one columnist, man. We don't get him out of here, man. We keep this party rolling, man.
Yeah.
No disrespect to the art of journalism, but
no. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
When it's constant attacks, at that point you're viewed as a hater. Like, bro, what is you talking about, bro? Your conversation isn't even about football. It's literally bashing my name.
Well, I think it's more so that guy was talking about, the entire program, but obviously Deion is the head of the program. But let me ask you this, right? If he had been attacking the players, what would have been said? Why is he attacking the players? Why isn't he going at the coach? Deion's a coach. Talk about him, right? So then he talks about the coach, And now that's another problem. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you talk about the head of the organization, so it's a tough situation.
But I think it's the reason why, because if you look back at what Sean B, he mainly comes at Deion about is for what Deion's been doing for about 30 years, being him, being the face,
Just a hater.
being the loudmouth, being that cocky person, confident. Like Deion Sanders sold his name off of confidence. That boy got drafted from Florida State.
Okay,
like he was that guy. I'm
okay.
the most confident person. He became a coach at Jackson State with confidence. With confidence, he's going to be the SWAC champion. He's going to do what he's going to do to that program. With confidence, he came over to Colorado.
Right.
That's just the way Deion is.
So let me ask you this, right? So you guys see it as, you guys agree that it's sustained personal attacks, right? So deposition Deion, right? Do you know where that comes from? That comes from the fact that he was deposed in the case, the case because he was involved in the case that had to do with his son Shiloh allegedly attacking somebody at when he was still in high school. So now is deposition Deion, is that a personal attack? It's not. He was in a deposition. What does that have to do with football? His name is Deion, right?
What the hell?
Well, the thing is, this guy is a columnist, so he can talk about all things surrounding Deion in the program, right? Obviously, so deposition Deion, not a personal attack. That's legitimate, right? Deion Kool-Aid, the Deion Kool-Aid. What's the Deion Kool-Aid, right? The Kool-Aid is that Deion is immediately going to come and turn Colorado into something. And well, after a hot start, it didn't end up being that way. So if a columnist writes about drinking the quote unquote Deion Kool-Aid, is that a personal attack or does that make sense? Listen, I'm not saying that this columnist is right in everything he did. I'm just saying we need to maybe look a little deeper, right? What's the other one? Circus. When you hear all this stuff that's going on around the Colorado program, and not all of it is positive at all, right? There's a lot going on. It's a very loud program, if we're honest. A circus could be, that term could be apropos. So again, are these personal attacks?
Why
really.
Would you consider it a circus, though?
Say again?
Why would people consider his program a circus?
So when you talk about circus, right, you talk about all the attention, all the noise, everything that's going on multiple fronts. And so that's why I don't see it as a personal attack. And I see why someone would say, it's a quote unquote circus.
I don't understand that. I really don't understand why they would call it a program a circus. Because as a coach, you're supposed to be able to recruit, right? And recruit. And now with this NIL, like, how do you recruit players? You got to appease to the talent, right? So when you come to my school, oh yeah, you're gonna have some of the best coaches in the Ed Reed or Warren Sapp or who else is on this coaching staff. But you have all these things. It's because his coaching staff is the way it is that it's a circus, or is it that celebrities come there that it's a circus?
I think
he demand a lot from his players based off of what he's presenting to them.
I think it's everything involved, positive and negative, is why you could theoretically, refer to it as a circus. And I don't see that as a personal attack, especially not coming from a columnist.
So how?
When he did that, when he was talking like that in Atlanta, was it a circus?
My last point: if they only won one game last year, the year before that, and they won 4 games, how can you say it's a circus when last year it was nothing? He's winning more games, so they're not getting worse. They're actually getting better. And we saw in the middle of that season last year, they changed a lot of their games. Like, there was a lot of players, a lot of teams they were supposed to play, they changed it. In the middle, we went from being home to being away in certain games. And so I'm not saying that, things changed for them because they was hot and they had a whole lot of attention. But Deion is going to demand that type of attention.
And that's fine. But let me okay, so
players to play at a higher level. I don't think the guy should be able to just come in and say whatever without facts, man. But
that's the thing, though, right? As a columnist, you don't get to be a columnist if you weren't a beat writer first, right? And that is all based on facts. Like, print journalism is much different than the opinion space where we are. Like, you generally need the hard facts behind you when you are a print journalist. For instance, right? I just looked up circus here, right?
It's looking like where was the guy when they won one game?
Hold on. One of the definitions of circus is this, right? a public scene of frenetic and noisily intrusive activity. Are you going to tell me that does not perfectly define the Colorado program? Let me read it to you again. A public scene of frenetic and noisily intrusive activity.
According to who, though?
Okay, so the fact that he's bringing attention to the team is a circus.
See, the problem is this, that you're taking the term circus and applying a negative connotation to it.
So when do we do that with any other program?
Exactly.
We don't ever say that for any other program.
Say that
he's bringing a circus.
So let me
say that as a joke, as a clown. You're a clown. If I call you a clown, it's not because I think you know how to make people laugh, because you know how to do funny things.
So let me ask you this,
clown
right?
because it's disrespectful.
Let me ask you this, right? Because I'm a communication grad. Words matter, right? Words matter. And so I'll say this. What other program have we seen? What other program have we seen that has made this much noise in the first year of its existence? Not of its existence, of, a new coaching regime, etc. What other high-profile program have we seen that looks like
football team?
Say again?
When have we ever had a GOAT come and coach a college football team? There goes your question. There goes your answer. We've never had a GOAT in the NFL come and coach a football team and do what he did. And not only is that GOAT a GOAT in football, he's probably the most trash talking and loudmouth GOAT we've known in the NFL. So the fact that he's doing this in college.
But what I'm saying, that doesn't change the fact that it by definition is a circus.
But
now
you're going by definition, bro.
You can dislike definition,
bro. That's
words
definition.
Matter. When did words
care about no definition?
Bro?
We know what he mean by circus.
Words matter. You can assume but
you say he bringing a party. He bringing a party to Colorado. He bringing a party. A party means celebration. You're bringing everybody together. It's a party, celebration. All their attention is on the biggest party on the block.
Right.
You say circus, bro. Just for example, when we were talking about my Lakers, right? You talk about my Lakers, right?
You've been to the circus when you were a kid, right?
No. Let me finish. When y'all talk about my Lakers and LeBron James and the fact that they drafted LeBron, you're like, man, it's just another. It's the LeBron circus,
right?
It's the circus. Y'all mean that as a derogatory term? Disrespect.
That's not always what it has to be, though.
That is always what it is. And when
That's
somebody
not always
mentions
what it
circus,
is.
bro,
You've been to the circus as a kid, right?
Circus in the limelight.
Have you been to the circus as a kid?
Yes, it's a bunch of clowns.
And you had fun at the circus, right?
Acts.
Was it a negative experience for you? Yes or no? Was it a negative experience, or did you enjoy your time at the circus as a kid?
I enjoyed my time at the circus, but you're missing.
There you go. So that proves that it does not always have to be negative.
An urban term. How are they using it in the street?
How do we know that he's using it as a quote unquote urban term? How do we know that?
By the rest of the shit. The rest of the stuff that he's saying.
I'm just saying, you don't know the dude.
My bad.
I don't know the dude. You don't know the dude.
I got one point, man. I think Prime did a good job of putting a gag order in his contract for stupidity, dumb conversations like this. Like, I don't believe that you should be able to say whatever you want, speak on people without having facts, right?
But we don't know that he doesn't have facts. That's the other thing.
He asked him, he said, "I got to make a living," according to something. That's what somebody said in the chat. I don't know. But according to him, he said when he asked him, like, why are you coming up with this stuff? This guy said, "Oh yeah, I got to pad my pockets. I got to make a living." And so it's an opportunistic point to start dragging this man because you know that anything that you say is going to amplify your base. So let's do this. Let's do this, gentlemen. Then do we want to? Obviously, we don't have time to do it now. We got to shut this down. But do we want to go back, find this dude's columns on Deion and the Colorado program and see what they say and revisit this? Let's see what he said. Because you're assuming that he doesn't have facts, and I'm like, we don't know that. He said about the Colorado, since he follows Colorado. Let's see what he said prior to Deion coming in, and if he had like those same sentiments towards the Colorado before he got there, when it was only winning one game, then I'll say this man is, he leaning towards one way. But if it's only because Deion is there, then that's wrong, bro. I will say this: nobody was talking about them prior to Deion's arrival, so it wouldn't have been a circus, right? However you want to utilize it, however you want to take the term circus, it wouldn't have been one because nobody was talking about him. It would have been talking about them. It would have been something. That's my view. I'm just saying, because you said you're making statements as if you know definitively that he's making stuff up without facts. So what we can do,
and I should have done this before. This is my bad. What we can do is go back, find this guy's columns, because I'm sure they're online, read them, and see what he has to say.
Yeah, I mean,
y'all want to do that?
They're all bad.
We can do that.
Bad.
Yeah, we definitely live in a society where people do things for likes and to go viral. And
yes,
what
they
better
do.
person to jump on the coattail than a Deion Sanders, a Hall of Fame football player. You know, we see the scandals and all these things. Like, this guy he's the only reason why he is in the news today is because he's talking about one of the great ones. That's it. If he was talking about somebody else, like I said, if he would, you know, we couldn't even, we never heard of him prior to
Right.
And everything people do is just retweet for Twitter.
But yes and no, right? Because we don't know how long he's been a columnist. What if he's been a columnist at? I'm just making up. Denver Post. Let's just say Denver Post. That's the big paper out there in Colorado. But what if he's been a columnist at the Denver Post for the previous 10 years, right? What if he has been?
Until today?
But there's a lot of columnists throughout the country that we never heard of until they get on TV or what have you. That doesn't mean they're not good at their job. That means people don't read newspapers that much anymore.
I think what made it worse is if you hear.
I'm not saying
Sean's
by the way. I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm not. I know it sounds like I'm trying to defend the guy. I'm playing devil's advocate. But go ahead.
If you hear Sean's follow-up, let me read you this here. You can't hide the fact that Colorado, which hired him with the sheer and utter desperation of a lonely nerd on prom night, conducted a lousy vetting process, hoping that a lifetime celebrity wouldn't come with a lifetime of skeletons in his closet too. What the hell does that have to do with football?
Okay, so let's try this. Where is what I like to say is what is untrue there? If he's saying something that's not true, cool. I got you.
But if you're known and he's calling you out, this is after he made his statement, right? The interview where he was like, I ain't got nothing to say to you. So if you are constantly attacking my name versus talking about the game, and then you follow up with that, I know what you about, bro. You came here
you
for
assume
me.
You know what I'm about, right?
Bro, nah. See, we can't do that. We can't do that. We can't do that. We know what you're here for.
Are we Professor X now?
We know what you're here for.
I'm asking you.
Just like y'all, because y'all do the same thing for LeBron. If somebody say something good about LeBron, you're like, oh, it's a fanboy. It's a part of the team, and it's a part of us, the Clutch Sports, right? You assume, but you never heard Bron say something.
Okay.
Right? You never heard Bron say something, so we assume.
That's why he put the gag on the pause. That's why, because it's his right as a coach.
No, it is his right. It's in his contract, and I will give you that, G.
Yeah, that's go eat somewhere else because you can't eat here. And he took.
All right, that's cool. But like I said, I think we should go back, look at the columns, and see what has been said consistently. And Steve, you're right. I'm sorry, not Steve Snead. You're right. But me personally, I feel like just based on what we've seen here, if you're not very what's the word?
I mean, they won 3 more games than they did the prior year.
They did, and that was the first thing I said.
And they did a lot of things.
Like they didn't acknowledge that.
They didn't even win their first year coaching, bro. Like they don't even win. Like,
again, let's not act as if I didn't acknowledge that from the very beginning of this topic. That's the first thing I said.
It's not about what you're acknowledging. It's the fact that what he's talking about.
It's not about,
like, you know what I'm saying? Like the man made.
You're not saying these things.
He made an improvement from 111, 1 and 10.
1 and 11. 1 and 11
to 4 and 8. Is that not an improvement?
Absolutely.
What was the problem last year? What did we see the problem was last year? They couldn't win in the trenches. Trenches, right? What did they do this offseason? They went and got some bros to get in the trenches. So let's talk about the improvements this man is making on the game.
Listen, I'm with you, but what you're for again, how are we? All right, it's cool. You know what? We see this differently because I don't see him as a tax, but that's cool.
You got the journalist hat on.
Yeah.
Now you're seeing it from an outside perspective. Like we don't all have that journalist hat on, G. We don't take the word circus as a definition of he's just bringing a good show for people to see. We take that as disrespect, bro. I don't know where you're from, but that's disrespectful.
You take it that way, but again, to me, and I've always been this way. Words matter. They have to matter. If words didn't matter, we wouldn't have dictionaries. It's that simple. Words
and the Urban Dictionary matters too.
Okay,
if that's the case, the Urban Dictionary matters.
I think
what'd you say?
I think he got PTSD and he's triggered by what a lot of these people say about him. That's what I think.
Who's he?
Deion.
That's possible.
Last year he ran into a bunch of scrutiny about him just being a black coach at Colorado.
I mean, I think that's absurd. But you know what? Yeah. Look, let's wrap it up with this. The easy way for him to fix this: go out and win. That's the easy way to fix all this. So we'll see what happens.
7 games this year. I mean, I
can see that. I can see that. 7, 8 games. Yeah. No, I think they're going to be much improved. I do. You know, that was never my concern or my issue. But let's go ahead and leave it right here. Y'all want to take some calls, or y'all want to call it a night?
Yeah, take calls, bro.
Take calls, man. We can't just deny the calls because it's late for us.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, y'all can't call in on 904-219. Hey, because it's
you're a wild dude.
The midnight show. We about to hit the midnight cap. You know, big baritone.
Good point, Sneed. Very good point. There we go again. Exactly.
But Sneed, when have you ever heard the term, you're running a circus around here, as a normal term, not as a term of endearment or disrespect? People take that as disrespect in urban terms. When you say, man, you're running a circus. What are you running a circus around here? You take that as disrespect.
You take it as disrespect, that's interesting. Bro. Let's go ahead and open up the phone lines. Let's open up the phone lines. 904-219-8264. 904-219-8264. Go ahead, give us a call. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this whole Deion.
Thank you, AJ.
Situation.
Put that comment up there
right now. Format Podcast.
What's up, man? Y'all all right, bro?
What's going on, man? Who's this?
Big Mike.
Mike, man. Yeah.
Oh, Mike. I thought I saved your number last time, man. My bad, bro.
Yeah, my other phone did, bro. I got 2 phones.
Okay, that's what's up. I'll save this one too.
My boy Kevin Gates, man.
All right, what you got, brother?
I ain't gonna lie, this circus, that's disrespect, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That's disrespect, man.
Okay. I mean, I respect that you feel that way. I don't necessarily agree, but I
feel you where you come from too, but I look at both sides. You see what I'm saying? You know, like bro said, but today's time, man, that's like you a clown. So,
You're a clown.
Yeah.
But see, I would never call Deion a clown. Only an idiot would call Deion a clown because he's not that. He's been successful in everything he's done in life, so we can't call him a clown. I think that's absurd.
Right. So I feel you, bro. You know what I'm saying? I feel where you come from too, because you just everybody don't think like that. That's all you can agree this good while you agree this good. You know what I'm saying? But
no doubt.
At the same time, you know, I think if what bro just read though, I ain't read seen nothing, but if bro just read, I take it as he trying to disrespect that man and trying to, degrade what he doing right now.
Okay.
For sure.
All right.
But nah, though, I was just checking in, man. Y'all, I'm taking in every time y'all on the show, bro. For sure.
I appreciate that, Mike. Thank you for calling, man. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the call, man.
Love you, bro.
Man, be safe, love, brother, for sure.
All right, man. Have a good one.
It's not about LeBron.
No, it's not. But I think he was just making because Transformer had brought it up a few minutes ago in terms of LeBron and the term circus.
These microaggressions got to stop.
Man, listen. You know what? The Cowboys analogy is good though. That's good. All right. Anybody else? Any other calls before we go ahead and call it a night?
It's a good show, bro. It's a real good show. We went damn near 4 hours.
Yeah, man. Three and a half solid, man. This was a very good show. Very good show. Steve, let's check this out before we get out of here. I think calling Deion a clown is out of bounds. Nobody did that. To refer to CU being a circus by definition is a personal attack, but I'd have to read more of this reporter's articles. Yeah, and I think that's what I'm going to go back and do now. And if I'm wrong, y'all know me already. I'll get back on the show and I will say, yo, I was wrong. I got no problem with that. Say, yo, Sneed is an idiot. But no, if I'm wrong, I'll get right back on here and say, hey, I think this guy was out of bounds. I was wrong before in defending him as a columnist. So I'm gonna look this guy's stuff up and see what he has to say. I'm definitely looking forward to reading some of this stuff and checking it out.
Yeah.
So
I mean, but the biggest thing is, man, like I said, I saw why there is a defense for him for like being shut out of the whole thing. Like you typically don't see that. You know what I mean? Like, granted, that's in Deion's contract. I get it,
and that's the big
it's
part.
a very, very unique situation.
But it's probably not unique.
Like,
it's probably just the first time we're hearing about something like that.
Exactly. So it's
probably not unique at all, to be honest.
It's probably like okay, like you could just not answer the just do what you did in the last one. It's like, okay, yeah, I get you. I'm here, so I don't get fined.
Like,
next question.
There was another guy that was writing for him, and then they switched it out and put another dude. It was like a young African American that was writing it first, and then they switched out and put another guy there.
Yeah, that's why he was like he didn't want to deal with CBS because CBS is wrong and they knew what they did. Yeah, so that was that.
We get it, man. We all ain't journalists, though.
Man, I try. I feel you though. What you guys said definitely has value as well. All right, so what we're gonna do right now, we are gonna call it at what is this? 3:33.
3:33.
Yeah, this is a heck of a show, man. This was
big. On Saturday.
On a Saturday, we got down, man. Y'all fellas did me proud, man. I appreciate y'all, brothers, man.
Did you proud, Paul?
Yeah. Oh, here you go,
I
man.
didn't do you at all, G.
You know what? I definitely got to find the No Diddy shirt. I got to get me one of those.
Something, bro. Headband.
Hey, get Man Down Sports on here, man. Tell us where you get it from. Shout out Man Down Sports, man.
No Diddy merch.
Yeah, I definitely. No Diddy merch. Yeah, I need that. But for everybody who came into the show tonight, man, I really appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all hanging with us. This was a long one, but I like to think we had some really good topics, and I like to think that we definitely gave you guys something to think about with our perspectives. And we really appreciate you guys' interaction in the chat. So one more time, if you haven't already, and I think everybody has, if you haven't already, please hit that like on the way out. And also, hit that share, man. That share button is powerful. And again, I love the fact that I'm really seeing a lot of the same faces in here, that loyal fan base. But let's go ahead and blow it up, man. So hit that share button and let's get this out to more sports fans. All right. So y'all have a good one. I appreciate y'all. And we'll probably be back, I guess, Wednesday night. Right, fellas?
Wednesday night.
Yeah, unless something crazy happens between now and then. But, and I might.
Tis the season.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
You might sign somewhere by now.
I know, right? And I might have I'm thinking Tuesday night I might be doing the college football show with Ryan Langford. So we'll see about that. But
man, if you bring Ryan on, I gotta be on that, boy. My boy Ryan, man.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So we're gonna go ahead and leave it right here, y'all. Everybody have a wonderful night. Be safe, and we'll see you next time. And we out. Peace.